Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. I'm practicing professional astrologer filling in for Nadiya Shah, giving you your weekly horoscope for the week of July 7th. Sending lots of love to Nadiya, sending lots of love to all of you if we haven't already met before. I am thrilled to walk you through the cosmic weather and what is going down this week. And I have to say, out of the gate, this is a pretty good week for most people. The cosmic sky is pretty good. Pretty clear, couple bumps in the road, but it's pretty good. Now, I want to remind you, it's always, always, always best to take the astrological weather and look at it against your own personal chart. When you really want to know what's going on, you've got to get into your own personal story to really see how these transits are impacting. But in the general, this is a pretty lovely, lovely week. Now, if you have an event going on Wednesday or Friday or Thursday, and you're like, Stormie, I just need to know what is the weather of that particular day. Well, you can check the description box down below and I'll put the timestamps for every single day so you can go right to the day you're looking to find out about, okay? All right, let's jump in here, friends, and see what is going on in the cosmic sky. Now, as we're coming in on Sunday, Sunday is a day ruled by the sun, so it's already naturally got its own vibrance to it, just being a Sunday. But as we're coming in, the moon is traveling through the vibration of Leo, who's ruled by the sun. So we get this signature that as the week is starting out and we're coming in, we're actually coming in with a bit more extroversion, right? There's more going on. We're more willing to speak. We're feeling like I maybe want to even be the center of attention a little bit, or I want to express myself and really let my fiery moon cup get filled up. Now, here's the interesting thing I think about the moon traveling through Leo is it's a great chance every month when we get the moon traveling through Leo. It's a great opportunity to ask yourself where you need to lighten up a little bit, where you need to stop taking yourself, taking others so dang seriously, and like laugh a little bit. When is the last time you let your heart play? When's the last time you just let something slide because it's really not that big of a deal, right? So this is a great day as we're coming in on Sunday to realize we're governed by a pretty expressive, playful, creative kind of energy. Now, as we continue to travel on Sunday, we're going to see that the moon and Mercury come into a conversation with each other as Mercury is also traveling through Leo. So this is a day of expression. Now, whether you are the one expressing and you're like, you know, I want to be center stage, I want to share my thoughts, I want to share my feelings on things, or you've got information coming into you. Maybe you're at an event or a family gathering or something like that. Whatever it is, it's like there's this inspiration and awe that can kind of be on the table. It tends to be pretty enjoyable. So I would say, I hope you are really enjoying whatever is going on Sunday and what you need. Remember, this is a great place to use that moon in Leo to help you ask for what you need. Ask for what you want, right? This is a big moment where, you know, I think about these opportunities we have where people are just around us waiting to give support, waiting to give nurturing, waiting to give opportunity, and we never have the courage to open our mouths. Well, with a moon in Leo, a moon in fire, you might just go on ahead and ask for exactly what it is that you need. Now, when we get to Monday, a moon day, things are going to start to get a little bit busier in the cosmic sky. Now, first and foremost, as we're coming in, we've still got the moon traveling through that vibration of Leo, okay? But as this moon is traveling, we also see that Mercury is going to be in a lovely conversation with Jupiter. Mercury is going to come into a sextile with Jupiter. Now, Mercury being our planet of the smaller mind, what we think, how we communicate, how we gather details and information, and Jupiter being our planet of the bigger mind, the big picture, the whole story, the big philosophy of things. As these two come into a sextile, the sextile lets us know that it's not only a pocket of opportunity to do something with, something easy with, but the sextile says, this is a pocket of opportunity and I will intelligently do something with this opportunity. So as we see Mercury and Jupiter come together, one of the first things it makes me think of is what kind of plans? Are you making plans? Do you need to scout, you're putting a program together, you're putting information together, you're making a long range plans, and it takes steps step by step, and it really needs to be infused with the way you would like to get things done. It's not about what does everybody else want. It's like, how do you want to get this done? Now, also, Jupiter tends to bring some kind of opportunity. So here on Monday, pay attention. Where are you hearing an opportunity knock at a door that maybe, you finally asked for what you want, or you said what you were feeling and thinking, and it's created a pocket of opportunity for you to open the door and walk through it? Where are you finding that you have good luck and opportunity for expansion already available at your fingertips? This is something I'd like to encourage you to look at on Monday. If you're feeling a little stuck in this direction or this area over here, it just hasn't been working out, pan back for just a minute and say, wait a minute, where do I have ease of opportunity to move in that particular direction? Because this can be an aspect that really helps you be able to do that. Now, earlier in the day, we will have also seen that Venus has come into a sextile with Uranus. So I'm telling you, on Monday, there is this opportunity for something surprising, some piece of information, some opportunity to be coming your way. Now, typically a Venus-Uranus sextile is pretty surprising, but positive as well. And Venus is only an attracting energy. Venus does not chase. She attracts. So you are pulling right towards you the places you're willing to look and see opportunity and expansion. Now, because Venus will hit this sextile with Uranus, and Uranus is in Taurus, which Venus rules, there's this question for me that is about how you are creating pockets or rivers, not streams, but rivers of income to flow to you. Where are you creating pockets or rivers for income or resources or opportunities to flow to you where maybe you didn't have them before? Because these combination of aspects are going to help you bring those things to a reality. Now, we've got another aspect later in the day that I think makes this even more helpful. What we're going to see is that Mercury is in a sextile to the south node and in a trine to the north node. Okay, so starting here at the south node position, Mercury in this sextile with the south node in Libra is saying, hold on, wait a minute, something from the past, something I've done, something I already know about that I maybe don't need to use as much anymore, but I do know about it, I did it once, is available to me. And I love it. Let me give you an example of this. Maybe there is a skill or a talent or something that you had, something you did in the past. Maybe if it's something you even liked to do, you enjoyed it, but you just never really went far with it. On Monday, we've got this opportunity where it's like, something's popping up out of nowhere. Maybe you used to be a writer and you put it down for whatever reason, and somebody sends you a message and they say, hey, I really need help right now. Can you help me write this thing? You start writing and it you open, you unfold, and you're like, gosh, I remember that I really liked doing this. Or, oh, I remember this past lesson, South Node, that I went through or that I experienced, and now it's opening and unfolding like this beautiful flower that is not only helpful to someone else, but it is a demonstration of your skill and your wisdom. Because the sextile is with that south node in Libra, ruled by Venus and attracting only energy, I think that on Monday, what we see as an old skill, an old talent, something that you have done in the past becomes a useful tool for the trine to the north node in Aries. It becomes this really useful road and route for you to create a new future from it. Maybe you're doing that writing that you were just asked to do. It's unfolding. You remember you loved doing that. And you're like, I think I'm going to actually start that blog. I'm going to do it. It's that Aries North Node. I'm going to do this and it will move me forward. And wouldn't it be great if you had a skill from the past, you thought it was done and dusted, it becomes valuable again in a very different and enjoyable way, and you're able to create more rivers, not streams, of resources to flow towards you, whether it is a resource of people or it is a resource of finances. Whatever it is, you have these really insightful opportunities to use use them on Monday. That's very exciting. So share with us in the comment section down below. What are these old skills that are resurfacing? What are these old projects maybe that are resurfacing for you? Is there a karmic conversation that comes up for you on Monday? You know, you're at a bookstore and you run into somebody and they become your mentor over the next 7 years. What is unfolding for you on Monday? Let us know in the comment section down below. All right, friends, on Tuesday, as we're coming in from 12:03 in the morning to 7:47 a.m., and that's going to be Mountain Time, so Colorado time, we are in a void of course moon time, okay? And it's really important to track your void of course moon times for several reasons. One, I draw your attention to this so that you can remember there is time to rest. There is time to stop working, to stop thinking about it, to come back to your breath. There is time. The universe has built it in because the universe is kind and loving. So in that 7-hour period, maybe you're one of our late night shift workers, or maybe you get up very early in the morning. If you are up and you are engaging in the world before 7:47 a.m., I want to call your attention to resting, to breathe. Don't start anything new. Instead, if there's something that you've needed to finish up, it's a great time for finishing up things. It's a great time for just saying, you know what, I'm going to let the universe have it for the next little bit, and allow yourself to come back to center, back to your breath, and not to stress, okay? Now, the other reason I think it's important to track these is, astrologically speaking, if you're trying to force something, start something new, or get a little project going when the moon is void of course, it's like the moon comes out of void of course and it's just trash. It's just trash. It can fall apart, or you find out that your heart's not really in it, and it's really disappointing to see that happen. So more than anything, please remember that every void of course moon period that you get, I don't care if even it's for 2 minutes, take it, please. Breathe, relax, come back to yourself. The universe has provided you a little pit stop. Now, just after that, at 7:48, we are going to see that the moon moves into Virgo. Now, we're out of this extroverted Leo territory, and we're moving the moon into a mutable sign. So what we know is happening emotionally is that the moon is taking what it's learned in Leo and it's getting ready to process it, go over, connect with it, look at the details of what's a priority, what needs to be emotionally organized or reorganized based on what you know and what you've learned now. And it's going to get ready to look at all of those things over the next couple days before it hands it off into the Libra territory for us to start afresh, okay? Now, when the moon is traveling through Virgo over this next couple days, really, truly ask yourself, where can I let go of the analysis paralysis? And you just think it. I'm thinking about it. I'm figuring it out. What are you figuring out? This is a great time to go, okay, hold on. Where can I put that down? Or where can I let Virgo guide me in my emotional being to see what is the priority? What do I need to do? What tasks actually need my attention for me to be emotionally well and grounded? Have I connected with my roots? Have I connected with my ancestors? What needs to happen for me to be grounded enough to bend, not break, as life is happening around me? It's a great question. And I also think it's a really good time when the moon gets into Virgo to try different things in your diet that align with the Virgo energy. You know, what do you have in your garden? What is a really clean, crisp recipe that you could create? Maybe you're buying something from the farmer's market. Maybe you're bringing in a haul from your own garden. Maybe for, you know, just something special at the grocery store, you go to the section that you never buy things in. What is it that you can do that kind of brings that earthy, clean eating to your Virgo attention? That would be a great experiment. If you try it, let me know in the comment section down below. And we're also going to see here on Tuesday that the moon comes into harmony with the sun, because we've got the sun traveling through Cancer and we've got the moon traveling through Virgo. So they create this really beautiful earth and water sextile to one another. So as we see this, one of the things that it does is, first of all, it reminds reminds us that when there is a good mix of earth and water, the emotion and the grounding, as those come together, what we can do is make sure that our own cups are nicely filled. We're nicely fueled in the way that we need to be. We're not living and so stuck up in our head that we can't actually engage with the outside world because we're not burning energy foolishly, right? And instead, we come into this nice balance that makes things less frustrating, that makes us less frustrating, which makes other people less frustrating. And instead, we can act and move more in a means of service with one another, because that's really what Virgo and Cancer want to do. They want to nurture. They want to be of service. They want to be doing acts of making things the very best they can be and caring. So Tuesday is a great day to know that we've got a little bit more ease. We've got a little bit more flow that's already moving through the day. Now, before we close out the day, we're going to see that Jupiter comes into a trine with the South Node and comes into a sextile with the North Node. And this is gratitude. This is this particular aspect. So I'm telling you, if you don't already have a gratitude notebook going for the things to look into your life and say, I'm actually really grateful that I have this, so you can really see the abundance that may be just living at your fingertips, but we can sometimes overlook it, right? This is a beautiful aspect where Jupiter comes and acts as this really nice magnifying glass and goes, look at what you have. Look at where you've been. Look at what you have. You're actually doing a pretty good job, right? Now, the other explanation I love with Jupiter being in trine to that South Node is that if there are bad behaviors, if there are patterns that you are not wanting to hold on to anymore, they don't actually demonstrate your wisdom and your growth. Jupiter at that South Node makes it easier to see them and be willing to release them, but release them to what? To the sextile that's happening at the North Node. So you're like, I see it now. I have my wisdom in place with that, and I can choose a path forward that allows me to grow. A really great example of this is someone coming into your space or coming into your life. Maybe even it's in that gratitude journal you're writing where you say, wow, I really had this experience over here, South Node, in the past, and I learned so much from this relationship. And as I go forward, I'm going to move like this. Or you're just telling someone, they come to you and they need your experience. They're like, I don't know what to do in my relationship. And you're like, I've been here. Here's what I did, right? So it's a great day to live in the abundance of what you've also learned, because it is wisdom at its finest. Now, Wednesday is probably one of my favorite days this week because it's good for business. And I really, really love business. I have a Capricorn South Node. So it's a great day for business projects, things you need to get started, especially things that have a long range goal or legacy attached to them. You want to take on some kind of commitment. What we're going to see is that the sun is in a trine to brilliant, beautiful Saturn. Okay. Now Saturn is retrograde. So what we know is that the sun has got this light, heat, life, and motivation. You are motivated to nurture, but to begin to nurture something that you had already been working on, but almost as if like you weren't fully emotionally invested, or you didn't have all of the pieces in some way. You couldn't quite make the commitment before, but today you can, right? So not only are you emotionally locked in to what's happening here, you are motivated and you're feeling like, I'm secure enough to make this decision. I have the resources. I'm willing to commit to taking on this responsibility or this obligation. And Saturn really wants your business, whatever that is. If it's the business of a company, or it's the business of a marriage, or it is the business of a friendship, whatever it is that you are trying to begin, your emotions, your faith, your finances are all pretty much in place to be able to take on this trine aspect and really reap the opportunity. Now, one of the things I will also encourage you to remember, soulmates, is that progress is perfect. Progress is perfect here. Everything may not be happening quickly, okay? But it is coming together. Under this aspect, you are progressing. So what is it that you want to start, that you're willing to invest and commit a little bit over time, a little bit over time, a little bit over time? You're willing to put that hard work in. At the same time, what have you been putting the hard work in that, again, you can stop and look around and go, man, I've really come pretty far in building this. Other things to be mindful of on Wednesday is if you have to have conversations around taxes, insurance, estate planning, those wills, if you've got any kind of conversations that you have to have about a trust or something that you're investing in, if it has long range repercussions or benefits to you, this is a great day on Wednesday to have those conversations, make those decisions. Now, we are going to see this aspect again when we get to November 4th. So keep an eye, make a note about what you're working on here so that when we get towards the end of the year and this comes back around, you can check in and see how you've done with your progress. All right, when we come to Thursday coming in, we've still got that moon traveling through Virgo, and it's going to be in place until later in the day when we will have a very tiny void of course moment. It's so fast that it's like, get into your breath really quickly before it moves to Libra. But beginning of the day, we're traveling with that moon in service-oriented Virgo. Now, we're also going to see that Venus comes into a trine with Neptune on Thursday, and what a great day for romance, for pleasure, for play, for daydreaming, for taking a little bit of a break. Now, we recently saw that Neptune headed into its retrograde. So one of the things that I want to point out here is that when Neptune is direct, as humans, we have this ease of opportunity to just kind of daydream, right? We have this idea or this ideal of who we are, what our life is, what things are. And even if in reality we're kind of far off the mark or we're not quite there, we can daydream a little, right? We can just go someplace else for just a few minutes. Now, Neptune is retrograde, so reality is reality. Now, the Neptune retrograde is pointing our attention to this vision or this reality or this vision, this ideal we've had for ourselves, right? In the area of Pisces in your chart, who we thought we were, what we'd like it ideally to be, and the reality of how close we are to actually meeting that idea or ideal or not. So Neptune retrograde has come and it's pulling the delusions. It's lifting the veils from your eyes to say, in reality, here's the distance between you and your ideal. Okay? Now, depending on how close or how far we are from the ideal and reality, sometimes Neptune retrograde can be kind of painful. People say, well, it's just an outer planet, so subconsciously. No, it can be painful. Okay, so it's something that you want to know because this ability to just fantasize with ease is not so accessible. You're a little bit more like, I'm kind of tender because I see that I'm not as close to my ideal as I'd like to be. So I'm just going to be good. I'm going to be easy about things because this is kind of tender information for me. Now, the caveat to that, of course, is if you have Neptune retrograde in your chart, then this Neptune retrograde is not about you going back in to reflect on your ideal anymore. It is about bringing that ideal out. You're bringing that ideal out of this energy. So as Venus comes into a connection with you, having Neptune retrograde in your natal chart, this may be a wonderful time of romance. You're like, listen, I'm romancing. I'm having a little fantasizing over here. It could be a wonderful day where you're like, I'm falling in love. I'm compassionate with the world. I love myself. You know, it's a lot of this very romantic kind of energy. I love this idea that you're gonna eat dessert first on Thursday and just see what happens. You know what I mean? So it's just a really delicious day, especially if you've got that Neptune retrograde in your birth chart, to take advantage of it. Now, we're going to see this happen again when we get to October 16th. So keep your eyes on it. Reflect. What's a pattern that's showing up for you? Where is something really creative sparking your attention and you're inspired? Where does romance literally come to your table on this particular day, okay? Just beyond that, we're going to see that Venus enters into the vibration of Leo. So now we are ready to love big. Let that heart shine. You know, I absolutely love Leo energy because the way we describe it on my channel is say it with your chest out. Lift that chest up, say it with your chest out. So where do you want to express encouragement to yourself or to other people? Where do you want your self-expressions of love to be known, to be noted? Where do you want to kind of be center stage engage in your love style. But what we have to keep in mind is that Venus is an attracting energy. So by loving big, by being encouraging, by nurturing the big cat energy in our family, friends, and fellows, this is exactly what we pull towards us. So if you've been feeling like, I just need affection in my life, I want a closeness, I want someone to be proud of me, I want someone to speak that kind of joy and pleasure and play into my life, it's a great day to ask, where are you speaking that into others? From the heart space, not from the head space, because what we're going to put out, we're going to definitely be getting back. Towards the end of the day at 7:54 p.m. going all the way till 8:06 p.m. Again, this is Colorado Mountain Time. We're going to see that we've got a void of course period going on. So rest. This is a gift from the universe to put it down. Switch gears for just a few minutes. Tell yourself consciously if you were thinking about something, you were solving it, you were figuring it out. I'm not figuring it out for the next few minutes. I'm just putting it down, letting the universe have it, okay? Not starting any new projects at this particular time because we don't want them to fall to trash as soon as the void of course time is over. Instead, great time, redirect your energy, finish up some things that need to happen. You know, your laundry misses you, go do your laundry. It's a great time to tidy up those things. Just after that, we will see the moon move into the vibration of Libra for the next 2.5 days. Okay, as we're getting this Libra vibration moon, one of the first things to check in with yourself is, am I in balance? Am I in emotional balance between myself and others or the things that I am partnering with? Am I in right relationship with myself so that my relationship is in its right relation? Because we're looking for balance here. We're looking for equity. But the moon moving into Libra also brings a really social kind of quality to it. So as we're getting to the end of the day here on Thursday, you may be finding that you're like, I kind of want to go out. I do want to be around people. So in that social vibration, maybe this is you're going out to dinner with people, with friends, you're having a new experience. And you know, when the moon's in Libra, try a mix of something sweet and savory to pique the palate a little bit, because that's really, really, really very delicious. And that's that nice balance between the me and we qualities that Libra brings in. But make no doubt about it, we start to move into a very social energy. And it's a beautiful social vibe where you're grabbing a lot of information. Maybe people are sharing information with you. You know, people change because of people. So in that social space, it's more than just going out. It's that people start to rub us in different ways that allow us to express different sides of ourselves, right? And that's really interesting going into Friday, which Friday I think is our challenging day of the week, because we're going to see Venus in an opposition to Pluto. Now, this can always have a mixed bag. I think that every opposition can have a mixed bag. But the first thing to think about is because we've got planets in opposition, they're going in different directions. So we've got this pull. Is it this? Is it this? Right? There's an instability that happens in an opposition. Typically, oppositions are relational as well. So someone is on the other side giving a pretty good pull to this particular opposition. But what we're looking to do in an opposition is find the sweet spot in the middle and integrate the energies, okay? So if we're still feeling the tension, it's because something is not integrated. But what? At this opposition with Pluto, it's information. There's something we have not seen just yet, right? We don't know a piece of information. It's almost like, what is brewing underneath the surface? It can feel like in relationships, there becomes like a pressure in your relationship for some reason. Now, the pressure can be a fear and obsession and insecurity that's rising to the surface in some way. So you'll be wanting to address that. And I say that this can go kind of 50-50 because on the one hand, if it's an absolute obsession, you're really insecure, getting really jealous, and this is how this particular aspect is presenting itself, that can lead to taking actions that are, you know, commonly under this influence going to be a bit more dangerous, right? They can cause us to take dangerous actions that we wouldn't normally take. I like to give it the benefit of the doubt that maybe what's happening here is there is something you've been afraid of, something you've been worried about, something maybe has been going on in your relationship. And this puts a lot of tension into that relationship. And it needs to happen. We need to feel like it's going in two different directions. So that will create a conversation of what needs to happen here for us to find the sweet spot in the middle. And then you're talking about it. I've been really afraid of this. I've been really worried about that. You know, whatever it looks like, I'd like to give it the benefit of the doubt that this is going to be a day where it can actually get things pushed to the surface, because Pluto is a good investigator. So it will get some things pushed to the surface so that you can get the information that you need in order to move forward. Last thought on this. Sometimes we can see the Venus and the Pluto come together, and it's like an instant karmic attraction to someone or to something. And I will say, my experience with this in my client work is this can be a bit of a dangerous liaison. So if someone is popping in and you just can't not touch that shiny object, I would be very mindful about what that is and say, am I in a space of karma with something that's going on here? Give it a little bit more time to get away from the Venus-Pluto opposition, and even more importantly, wait until the end of the year when Pluto comes all the way direct out of its retrograde, and then you can see what that thing is really made of, okay? As we're going to wrap up this week on Saturday, we're going to see that the moon continuing its travel through Libra is going to come into a square with the sun in Cancer. Now, this square is saying, I'm annoyed or I'm uncomfortable with something that has been revealed to me. Now, if this can be negative emotions coming from the moon, or maybe a bad habit or pattern, or maybe you saw that something was really outdated, the information you were given, now you're current with it and you realize you need to do something with the information that you've been given. Now, the sun is still traveling in Cancer, so my first suggestion here is going to be go to your family or whoever you call family or your trusted, secure unit for help, for support, for guidance. If something has come up, maybe you're having to have a conversation about things that came up around your family and figure out how you're going to navigate forward with that. But whatever it is, there is this need with the square between the moon and the sun I need to do something about this. I have to square up to this and bring this to some kind of reasonable action. It might even be that you're trying to look for a solution where everybody wins or where everybody can start fresh. That's going to be pretty vibrant in the story of what's happening on Saturday. Now, on the end of the day at Saturday, we're going to see the moon come into its first quarter position at 22 degrees of Libra. Now, this is exciting when we get to first quarter time, because something that you've been working on since October 14th of 2023, when the moon was at 21 degrees of Libra, we were in an eclipse, right? You were starting something then. You were setting an intention, and what you were trying to begin right then, you will work on for the next 2.5 years. But at that time when you were planting these seeds of intention, the garden was just being seeded. Okay, now at the first quarter time, you're ready to be taking action on what you began at that time. So go back to that time in your life, what was starting to come in, even if you were only sensing it coming in, or you had an idea of what you wanted to begin, what was happening in your relationships, your relationship dynamic, what was leaving a relationship dynamic and giving you space to start anew, start fresh. Well, at this first quarter time, this is it. At 22 degrees of Libra, you are ready to take action. You're tearing down what was, right? And you're building in a future forward-minded way what you would like to be experiencing next that you already began in October of 2023. Now, when we get to April 13th of 2025, will be the next time we check in on this particular lunation, because we'll be at the full moon that's going to be happening at 23 degrees of Libra. So between now and April of 2025, you're building. You are a builder. You are tearing down things. You are building what needs to come next. The people, places, and things that need to fall out of your life because it doesn't emotionally work. The habits that need to fall out of your life because they don't work. Let them fall. Don't reach out for any of it, okay? There's a change that is happening and you're actively participating in it. It's an absolutely beautiful cycle. And to close out the day on Saturday, we're going to see the moon get into its void of course position. So I would encourage you from 4:50 p.m., and that is Colorado Mountain Time, to rest and relax all the way until Sunday at 8:52 a.m. This is a particularly long void of course period, so allow yourself to come down, to rest, to finish things, to make peace with emotionally what has come up for you this week. Any information provided is always built to allow you to move in the direction of your greatest good, because in the sky there's nothing but a cosmic conspiracy to have you on your best path. All right, my absolutely beautiful friends, thank you for letting me spend a little bit of time with you. Remember, you can get your timestamps in the description box down below, along with a ton of other goodies that Nadiya has got going for you. Enjoy your week, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.